Hello and welcome back to the Saba Show. Today we are doing the match reaction / talking points for Everton Fulham. This one resulted in a 3-1 defeat. I mean, pretty unsatisfied with the performance today. I mean, how could you not? Went into half-time with a fair bit of optimism, but came out in the second half, and after about a 5-minute good stint, the floodgates opened and we basically dropped our heads from there, and that really set the tone for what was a pretty disappointing day at the office. If we talk about what could have been, I mean, plenty of opportunity in the first half. Now, I've seen a lot of criticism about Sean Dyche and his team selection and his tactical manoeuvres in the first half. That could be criticised in the opening 30 minutes when it seemed like Alex Iwobi was situated in the wrong spot. We looked really like we were lacking a punch. And there was just simply no influence from Dwight McNeil either. They put Iwobi in the middle, they put McNeil out wide on the right side, and immediately Dwight McNeil came to life. And he's going to be my player of the match because I think he was excellent today in switching the play with, some excellent curled, lofted passes. I think his touch today was superb as well. His crossing. In the first half, there were a lot of opportunities. He just turned trash into gold. You had the Damari Gray miss. You had Neil Maupay twice. He got him in. Or the first one was a set piece, which resulted in a Maupay header. And the second one was the 1-2 with Maupay as well, which, I mean, McNeil could have come away with a goal and 2 assists today with the way in which he played in the first half. In the second half, when we dropped off, he still didn't seem like he'd gone back into his shell. So I give him full credit for his performance today. Now, we just mentioned Neil Maupay. Now, in a situation like this, where your ladder position is so fragile, you cannot have Neil Maupay running around for your football club. At this point, I don't understand what the extra opportunity is for. He's had enough opportunities. He's proven plenty of times that he's inept at kicking a football. So why on earth do we continue to persist? Nothing has changed. And it's very interesting. I think today is a symbol of us going back into old habits. Playing Neil Maupay, number one. I don't think it's happened very often in the Dyche tenure. And number two, having significant defensive lapses. We'll talk about the first one right now. Maupay's opportunities. I mean, the first one where it could have been offside, I'm not really sure, but it wouldn't matter because it never went in. Neil Maupay finds ways to pick out the goalkeeper from point-blank range when he's got the whole goal to choose from. Like an uncontested header, and he decides to pick out the keeper. And then the one where he had a 1-2 with Dwight McNeil, I don't even know what he was doing, what his intention was. It looked like he was trying to dink it over the top. I don't know why you wouldn't just try to place it. That's what happens when you go for prettiness over placement. We don't have time, to piss fart around with it. You've got to get the job done, and you've got to be convincing about it. And Neil Maupay is just not convincing with it as a striker. He's had so many opportunities. I mean, the opportunities he had today in a period of the game where we were dominating and needed to capitalize, especially for a team that doesn't generate, many opportunities at all, let alone high percentage ones. We needed to capitalize, and Neil Maupay is not the guy that you can have up front when you need to do that. The sample size is there. It is a large sample size. All right, so we're done with the attacking side of things. Let's talk about the defensive side. Now, it just seemed like we were too comfortable today. We talk about the goals conceded, yet again lapses and very avoidable. I say this every single week. I sound like a broken record saying it. The first goal, I mean, I don't know what it will take for this team to learn to just clear the ball and deal with it. Like if Nike's motto is just do it, then Everton's motto has to be just deal with it. And we don't know how to do that. That's what we should be preaching on a week-by-week basis because we just can't do it. The amount of times where we would just pass it right back to Fulham in our own penalty box trying to clear it. It was a sorry excuse for a clearance. And it was just inviting even more pressure with these high percentage looks we were giving them, in really good territory for them to score. And the first goal, we didn't deal with it. The second goal, we didn't deal with it because we were far too relaxed with our coverage of the left-hand side, which was common all game long. I mean, it was very easy to cover. Ben Godfrey just giving Willian too much space, and the cutback was way too easy. And then as far as the third goal goes, I mean, that was just poor. Two defenders getting attracted to the same ball, no communication, and that was the result. I'm fairly worried because, I mean, without Seamus, we looked a little bit lost, and we needed a leadership figure out there. Doucouré's loss has hurt us, and I don't think we really anticipated how important Doucouré is to our team and the makeup of our team with Deitch in it. How imperative he is within that system because of how hard he works and, the attacking push he provides and the physicality as well. Onana was an even bigger loss today for a number of reasons. On the attacking side, you don't have a clear focal point from set pieces. And on the defensive side, we saw a number of times Fulham go for the short pass from the corner and set it up for someone on the edge of the box. That was because we didn't have an Onana in there. Onana basically accounts for two smaller Everton players. We had to pack the penalty box even more because we just didn't have that aerial presence, so we needed to provide a little bit more in terms of cramming the space and congesting it so Fulham couldn't really make any runs or movement. But that obviously compromised us with the space we gave, and there were a couple opportunities where we looked incredibly vulnerable, giving them looks outside the box. We know how many goals we concede, from that source, and it was very, very concerning the way in which it all panned out. That being said, with the loss of Doucouré and Onana, I actually really enjoyed watching James Garner. I do think his touch was excellent. Obviously, the goal he conceded, or sort of was in charge of conceding, the very first one was probably one of the only things I could slate him for. I think it was very progressive. I think he was proactive with his ball movement. He seemed very calm and composed on the ball. He wasn't afraid to, whip it in and get the ball into dangerous areas, and he was pretty good at that. Sometimes he would, like Mikolenko would run up the left side, and we know how much of a lack of a threat he is on the attacking end. James Garner flagged exactly that and sort of sat a pass behind the ball, and he'd receive it from Miko and send it in, and we would get it into a dangerous spot. I think with DCL, you become a hell of a lot more threatening, but with a guy like Neil Maupay up front, you're not really asking for success, are you? Or doing yourself any favours. I think Alice Sims needed to play. It's not worth having a guy who can't even kick a football in your team when you need to score over a guy who has years of development ahead of him, and this exposure will do him good. I mean, if he's not going to score goals, Alice Sims, at least we're putting the minutes into him. With Neil Maupay, it just seems like a very poor, pointless exercise. Like, it doesn't make any logistical sense. I don't want to see him get another start. Heck, I don't even want to see him play another minute, but we know exactly what's going to happen there, especially if DCL's going to be out for more games. I hope DCL's back. Onana needs to return. Hopefully Seamus's niggle is not too bad, and Doucouré, I don't know how many more games he's got to serve, but look, I think people bagging Sean Dyche have to understand that with very slim pickings in terms of who he's got to choose from, you strip 4 of your starting 11, of your best 11 from him, and you're going to see players that seep into the starting 11 that just aren't of the standard. But as for immersing players like Alice Sims in games like Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, where is he now? Should I say Liverpool, but where is he now? For these games where we probably have an even bigger shot to win, where is the most potent attacking option we have? And it sort of sucks and is a very big concern that our biggest and most potent attacking option is a 20-year-old striker who's got 3 starts to his name. It's a worry. Damari Gray wasn't great today. He basically didn't exist. He wasn't really allowed to roam or freely move. We need these players to step up. And given a lot of these players aren't Premier League standard, the big question is, will that actually happen? And will it happen regularly enough for us to get to safety? That is the big concern now. And no, I'm not saying it's done, because there's a long way to go. A lot of people are already writing us off, and look, it's going to mean a hell of a lot more if we stay up. But in saying that, games like this we needed to win. A home crowd in front of us. We had the momentum going into the half. We could have rode that wave of momentum in the second half. The crowd would have gotten involved. But, that 15-minute patch in the back end of the first half was the defining period of the game. You score a goal or two, you're up, you go into the break, the complexion of the game is changed. Fulham have to approach things differently, and that may leave them more vulnerable at the back. You may be able to score a third. Instead, it's the other way around, and we are currently hanging on to that 17th spot. This could be a game that matters. We could look back on this one if we go down and say this is a game we exactly needed to win. Anyway, that's going to do it from me. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.